Hey everyone, welcome back. You ready to dive in? Today's deep dive,
Yeah.
all about winning.
Ring!
Winning
That's right.
in your 20s.
Ooh, big topic.
Huge topic.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing you got to do is kind of figure out, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
What does winning even mean to you? Like, forget the motivational posters, forget the Lamborghinis and all that stuff. What does it really mean
Right.
to win in your 20s?
Yeah.
And we are digging into a text
Okay.
that really kind of lays it all out for us today.
All right. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. And I think one of the things I'm really interested in kind of digging into with you is this idea that you've got this like unique advantage in your 20s. Like, you've got time.
Oh, yeah.
You've got time to experiment. You've got time to screw up and bounce back. The stakes aren't as high,
Exactly.
as they might be later on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my 40s now, and looking back, that's the thing I wish I had known more than anything, was that it's okay to make mistakes,
Yeah.
Like, you have this incredible opportunity to try things out.
Yeah.
And if they don't work, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You can pivot, you can adjust. That's what your 20s are all about, figuring out what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And I love how this text really emphasizes this idea that like discipline is so much more important than motivation.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so tell me, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, think about it. Motivation, it's like,
Fleeting.
it's fleeting. Yeah, it comes and goes, right? It's like the weather.
Right.
But discipline is like the bedrock. It's what you build your life on. It's like, instead of saying, oh, I want to, get in shape, which we all say.
Right.
Right. You actually like commit to a specific workout routine. You say, okay, 3 times a week, I'm going to the gym no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter if I'm tired, no matter if it's raining, no matter if my favorite show is on.
Yeah.
That's discipline.
Yeah. I think that's such a powerful way to look at it. It's like you're making a promise to yourself
If you are.
and you're keeping it. And that's what builds those habits that actually lead to those results.
Exactly. And it's not just about the gym, right? It's about everything. It's about your work, your relationships, your personal growth.
Yeah.
Discipline is the key to consistency, and
Yeah.
consistency is the key to, well, everything.
That's so true. And I think it connects really well with this other idea that the source talks about, which is being relentlessly curious.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, it's so cool, right? Like, think about your 20s as this time where you can just be like a sponge.
Yeah.
You can soak up all this knowledge, all these experiences, and the source really encourages you to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you're in this incredible learning phase of life. You're figuring out who you are, what you want to do, what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to be curious. Like, read everything you can get your hands on. Take courses, go to workshops, talk to people who are doing the things you're interested in.
I love that. Talk to people, like find mentors,
Yeah.
network.
Yes. Mentors are gold. Find people who have been there, done that, and are willing to share their wisdom.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a shortcut to success. They can help you avoid the pitfalls. They can give you advice. They can open doors for you. And, sometimes it's just about asking the right questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, on that note of learning, I think one of the biggest lessons that we learn in our 20s is how to deal with failure,
Ooh, yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
nobody likes to talk about it.
Nobody wants to fail.
Right. But it's inevitable. Like, you're going to face setbacks, you're going to make mistakes, and this source actually encourages you to embrace failure as feedback.
That's such a powerful reframing.
Yeah, right. Like, tell me, like, what does that mean to you?
Well, instead of seeing failure as this, big scary monster that's going to derail your whole life, you start to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow.
Right.
It's like, okay, I tried this, it didn't work. What can I learn from that? How can I adjust my approach? How can I do better next time?
And that's where resilience comes in.
Yes.
Okay.
Resilience is like a superpower, especially in your 20s.
It really is.
It's that ability to bounce back from setbacks, to dust yourself off and say, okay, I'm not giving up.
Yeah. I love that. So we've talked about discipline. We've talked about curiosity. We've talked about resilience. Now let's talk about strengths.
All right.
Because this source really emphasizes this idea of focusing on your strengths. Like, what are you naturally good at?
That's so important because, we often spend so much time trying to fix our weaknesses
Right.
that we forget to nurture the things that we're actually really good at.
Yeah.
And the source argues that, true excellence, it comes from identifying your natural talents and then honing those skills.
Yeah.
Like, what are you uniquely good at? What do you enjoy doing? What comes naturally to you? Those are your strengths.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's hard to even know what those are,
It
right?
can be. It can be. Sometimes you need to ask other people, hey, what do you think I'm good at?
Right.
Because sometimes they see things in us that we don't see in ourselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, do you think it's important to also work on your weaknesses?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
But I think it's about finding the right balance.
Okay.
Like, focus on developing your strengths to a level of excellence.
Yeah.
And then, for those areas where you're weaker, maybe you can find ways to compensate or delegate.
Right, right. Like, build a team.
Exactly. Even if it's just a team within yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so you figured out your strengths, you're working on them, you're being resilient, you're learning all the time. Now you got to set some goals.
Goals. Goals are key.
Right. Like, how do you actually achieve those big wins? And this source really emphasizes setting clear goals. Why is that so important?
Well, because if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Right.
Right. Like you need to have a destination in mind.
Yeah.
And setting clear, specific, measurable goals, it gives you a roadmap.
Yeah, it breaks it down. It breaks down those big, overwhelming things into smaller, more manageable steps.
Exactly. Like, for example, let's say your goal is to write a novel,
Okay.
which can feel very daunting.
Oh my God, yes.
Right. But if you break it down and say, okay, I'm going to write 1 page a day,
Right.
suddenly it feels much more achievable.
Totally. And it all adds up, right?
That does. It all adds up.
Yeah. And speaking of adding up and, kind of surrounding yourself with support,
Yes.
the source also talks about the importance of surrounding yourself with winners. What do you think about that?
I think it's crucial. We're so influenced by the people we spend time with.
We are.
Their energy, their attitudes, their habits, it all rubs off on us. So if you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, positive, supportive, it's going to lift you up.
Yeah. And it's not just about, like success in a traditional sense. It's about surrounding yourself with people who are good for you,
Exactly.
who challenge you, who inspire you, who make you want to be a better version of yourself.
Yes, and who celebrate your wins with you.
Yes. And that's so important too. But what about when things change? Because let's be real, in your 20s, things change all the time.
They do.
And this source talks about the need to adapt quickly. How do you build that adaptability muscle? Like, how do you get good at rolling with the punches?
I think it's about being open to new experiences, being willing to learn new skills, and not being afraid to pivot.
Yeah.
The world is changing so fast these days.
Right.
Technology, the job market, everything. So you got to be adaptable. You got to be able to adjust to new situations and learn new things quickly.
It's like a mental agility course
It is.
for your career and for life.
Yes, exactly.
And speaking of kind of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, the last thing I want to touch on is this idea of taking risks.
Ooh, yes. Risks. Scary, but necessary.
Right. Especially in your 20s.
Exactly.
You've got less to lose, right? You've got more time to recover if things don't go as planned.
That's true. And the source really encourages you to take calculated risks.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, it means not being reckless.
Okay.
It means thinking things through, weighing the potential risks and rewards, and then making a decision.
Yeah.
And even if things don't go perfectly, even if you fail, you learn from it.
Yeah.
And that experience becomes valuable.
And you probably won't make that same mistake again.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Right. And the source makes this interesting point that taking risks actually gets harder as you get older because you have more responsibilities, you have more to lose. So your 20s, this is the time to experiment, to try new things, to see what sticks.
That's a great point. It's like you've got this built-in safety net.
We do.
You're kind of expected to be figuring things out, so take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
Wow, we have covered so much today. From discipline to resilience to taking risks to surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind.
It has, but I think it all comes back to this idea of winning in your 20s and what that even means.
Right. And I think it's important to remember that winning, it's not a destination.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's about continuous growth. It's about learning. It's about adaptation.
So as you kind of reflect on everything we've talked about today, think about what resonates with you most. What's one action you can take today to start winning on your own terms? That's something for you to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.